Welcome back, guys and girls, to another review. I've cut my hair, I've tightened myself up for this review. Not specifically for this review, I've just done it because I felt like doing it. Today we're going to be looking at the Cooler Master Storm Mech keyboard, which is a Cherry MX Blue keyboard and its mechanical switches. This keyboard features a lot of good things: USB hub, audio interface, backlit keys, different backlit modes, great software, great build. There's a lot it offers, and I feel that it does beat the Black Widow. And in this review I'm going to tell you why I think it beats the Black Widow, step by step. So enough of me blabbering on to you right now. Let's get to the keyboard and let's do this review. Okay peeps, here is the keyboard. So let's start off with the build quality, shall we? It's a plastic chassis with an aluminum fascia plate, which is held on by 7 screws. Over on this side there is a handle, just as you can see where my hand is, and this allows it to be transported to LAN parties, tournaments, events, wherever you wish to go. And it is, a light keyboard. Considering how big it is, it's a light keyboard. This is a full UK layout with a numpad, QWERTY layout, full-size backspace, full-size enter, full-size shift, really lovely large spacebar. It's fantastic, and a really short shift, because the key with this shift is when you're gaming, your pinky just wants to rest there, and it's just the right size for a pinky to fit on. That's a good touch, because when you're playing FPSs or first-person games, you want a short shift because you don't want it to be this size or even that size or that size. So we have our macro keys on the right. We have 5 macro keys over on the left, sorry I meant, not right, on the left. These can be programmed through the software or on the keyboard on the fly with these 2 keys here, which are your Alt and Macro. There's one thing I do want to point to you. What I'm going to do is I'm going to zoom you into it now while I'm on camera, because if you have a look, there is no window key. There's a good reason for that. What you have instead is a function key, which does double as a window key. But the point is that how often do you use the window key? I mean, how often do you think, I need to access the start menu, go press the key? You don't. So what Cooler Master's done, and very rightfully, I know I've heard quite a few people say that it's a bad mistake, but I think it's a good mistake, because you want to try. I'm going to move you out a little bit quickly. Just want to get you to have a quick. That'll do. So, because if you want to function here, you don't want to go function or function like that. You don't want to be stretching the keyboard. You want to be able to function half the function keys and function the other half the function keys. So I think that's a good tool. Now you can disable it via the keyboard with the F12 key. I'll show you that when it's lit up. But you can do that in the software. You can easily tell it to say this is a no Windows key. No Windows, literally, just says no Windows. I'll show you that in the software as well. So that is the keyboard. Physically, really, not much more for me to tell you, because I want to explain these with it lit up. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to plug the keyboard in, move the camera, and show you it lit up, and show you what these function keys do. Alright peeps, so we've got the keyboard plugged in via USB 3. Which is a very good thing, because over at the top here you can see the etching. There are two USB 3 ports, a microphone port and a headphone port. If you're going to run this with the headphones simultaneously, the microphone simultaneously, USB drives or USB mouse like I've got, the USB 3 port, the DSPs that it's capable of benefit this keyboard greatly. So we've got the keyboard lit up. It's a lovely white LED lit. I can't change the LED color, which is a problem. I mean, for example, on my SteelSeries WoW mouse, you can change the LED color. So I was able to change the mouse color to white to match the keyboard, But some people are OCD like me and don't have changeable color mouses. I bring to mind the SteelSeries mice, Sensei Pro, Razer, Mamba, Epic, Death Adder, Rocat, Corsair if it's lit up. I can't remember if it is a little mouse, sorry. But the point is, there's just, I know this is color changeable, but this lighting should have been color changeable. Really should have been color changeable. It's definitely not something that's too difficult to implement. I mean, we've seen it at CES 2014. Corsair have got RGB lights now on these things, but I think it's taken a bit too late for that to happen. We've had that on membrane keyboards for, oh, since the Logitech G15 days, or maybe before even, I don't remember. Right, enough of me waffling on. So let's start off with these first 4 function keys. Either FN key will work. The first one turns off the key, but leaves the Windows lock key on. So if you've got the Windows lock on, or if it's off, the LED goes off. If it's on, it stays lit up. But the point is, if you don't lock the Windows key and you turn the LEDs back on, that does not turn back on. That is a reminder LED to pretty much tell you that you've locked Windows or you've not locked Windows. This is your brightness setting. 5-step brightness system. This is the first step, second step, third step, fourth step, and the one I have on, 5th step, full brightness. Now the next bank, F5 to F8, is your pause, play, stop, rewind and fast forward. Simple media keys. The final bank is your mute, volume down and volume up. I will get my words out. And like I said, this is your Windows lock key. And I forgot to demonstrate the modes. So we have standard mode, we have heartbeat mode, now it's called pulsating mode, I like to call it heartbeat mode, and then we have gaming mode. I do that because it's not really, again, this is another con with the LED system on a lot of keyboards, because this is very similar to a lot of LED systems, where, well, A, they're not color changeable, and B, you can't change what LEDs you want lit up, because it's it's hard programmed into the keyboard's chip. So in this mode we've got our macro keys, WASD, and our arrow keys. But I would love to have seen if we could have had, say, for .2 or a MOBA, you know, QWER lit up with 1 to 6 lit up, or even in FPS mode, you know, reload lit up, grenade, you know, crouch, sprint, inventory. You know, these are the keys you use in FPS games. And a lot of people don't like to take their hands off the trigger of the mouse, so, you know, they use the number pads to change weapons. That would have been nice to be lit up as well. So again, there's a missed opportunity for Cooler Master to have implemented that, because, to be fair, I don't know many keyboards, if any, that can do that. So quickly, why do I prefer this to the Black Widow? A, the build quality is better. B, you know, the hub I feel is better. You know, we've got USB 3 on board. Overall layout is better, and just the functionality of the keyboard is just a tad over. I mean, this is £125 compared to the 110, 120 depending on where you go to for a brand new keyboard. It depends on what you want, really. The Black Widow is a great keyboard. I just find this a much better keyboard. It's bigger, better built, and I mean, yes, better built only because it has an aluminum faceplate, but again, that's all it takes, you know. One small change, it's quite a large change actually, but one small change can make a difference, and this Cooler Master has proven that. And you know, with this handle on the left over here and the wrist rest, say that 5 times really fast, it just makes it a much more enjoyable experience to use this keyboard over the Black Widow. And yes, I have tried the Black Widow. So, enough of the keyboard, because frankly I'm done reviewing this keyboard. I'm going to review the software for the keyboard. So let's get to it. Alright peeps, well, welcome to the software, or the sound library first actually. I just want to show you this. This is the speaker. It's called Speakers USB PNP plug and play sound device. This is representing the sound device built into the keyboard, because the keyboard has a built-in chip which gets its data through the USB 3 cable, and literally you plug in the USB 3, boom, you're away and go. You just plug in your headphones and you're just done. I mean, even if you go to recording, microphone from USB PNP, it's there. It is showing 2-bar reading, which could be due to static. Might be. I'm trying to fiddle around. It isn't due to. Might be due to static. But it's functional and it works. Now the software. So first page, we've got a full layout of the keyboard, and I can basically do whatever I want. I can change whatever the keys I want to do. I can change U to B, V to Q, L to A, S to D, H to Y, T to 3, 9 to open bracket, semicolon to stop. You get the point. Now over here is your macro keys. You can set them using the Macro Studio, which I'll get to in a minute. You've also got different profiles at the bottom here. 5 profiles, 5 macro keys. It's the best part of 25 different keys you can assign, theoretically speaking. And if you was to assign the number pads, just 9 plus 5, you can just 14, and you can do the maths from there, 14 times 5, and so on and so forth. You can set up your profiles here, and you can set up an auto switch, so you can set up a function to auto switch them. And then finally we've got the Macro Studio, so you can create a new macro and timeline, step number or key number, and it just goes through really. Really, that is it. You click new, select click DD, and then hold on, press the record button. I do a 1-to-1 mode over here, and I can literally just tell it to do whatever the hell I like. Goes up to 25 steps. So yeah, you can't go any further than 25 steps. And then click save, and it's saved as a macro, and there it is, DDD. I can then run it and it'll do something for me. Honestly don't know what you want to do with going WW, WS, WS, SSW, and yeah, you can see what I'm trying to do. You can play it, it'll just go through and do nothing. Yeah, it's pressing. I can hear it. The speakers are going because it's pressing all the keys. But you get to see what it's doing. So that's the Macro Studio, and that is the entire software. There's not much to it. It's simple. I mean, I've used the Corsair K90 macro system. It's not as easy as this, frankly, and this really works really well. It's simply click new, give it a name, press all the keys you want to press up to 25 keystrokes, and I mean, as you can see, you can have multiple keys at any time, so you can have 25 by 25. It's ridiculous. So really fantastic. So I mean, having 5 macro keys is more than enough. I don't use them, but I can see the purpose for them. So now I'm gonna move the camera, conclude this video, and tell you my final thoughts. Alright guys, so there you go. Pretty lengthy review of the keyboard and the software. I know it's not been the best review in the world, but I would say I've shown you everything. I've detailed what I think is the pro, what I think is the con. So I'm just going to quickly go through the pros with you now. So the pros, build quality. It's fantastic. It's built like solidly, built like a tank. Number two, the layout. Nice layout, standard layout of a good size backspace, good size enter key, good size shift, good size space, well placed left shift, well placed keys. There's nothing, you know, it's where you want it to be. Great features on functions on the function keys. You know, brilliant backlight system. I do wish it was color changeable, but I'll get to that in the cons. USB hub, brilliant, controlled by one cable. There's no audio split, no USB split. It's fantastic. The software is easy to use, intuitive, no problems at all. I just showed you, setting my macro is easy. You can do it in literally 2-3 steps. So nothing to worry about there. Cons, size, it is a large keyboard. Simply put, it's gigantic. It's bigger than the Corsair K90. The handle is kind of pointless depending on if you actually want to take it out to LAN parties, but due to its size, I wouldn't want to take it out. So if it was smaller, the handle would have made sense, but it's too big for a handle, but it has a handle, so it doesn't make sense. Next is the backlighting. I wish it was changeable, color changeable, would have made it for a nice experience. Like I said, we've had this on memory keyboards for ages. I mean, since the G15, maybe before that. Another point, the modes. I wish you could change the modes. Now, I'm sure it's not hard to implement a software just to change the modes. I mean, you could control it from the software, not from the hardware. I mean, I would have loved seeing that, because that would have been a great feature that would have set this keyboard apart from the competition by miles, because that would have been a feature that would have sold this keyboard to a lot of people. Finally, really price. £130 is a lot of money. 125 actually, I think. Still a lot of money for a mechanical keyboard, comparing to red switched keyboards and brown switched keyboards. The blue switches are fantastic. I will admit they are great. I went from red switches to blue and I loved it. But I can see the annoyance here. They're loud, they're clicky, and they can be annoying because some people might not like that tactile feedback, so then they want a red switch. But some people might like the tactile feedback but not want the clickiness. Go for a brown switch, and there, brown switch and red switch keyboards are a heck of a lot cheaper than this one. Talk about half the price. So price wise, this is sitting as probably one of the most expensive keyboards, if you rule out Ducky keyboards and possibly DAS, depending on who you buy from for DAS. It does, in my opinion, beat the Black Widow. But here comes the other problem. The Black Widow is great in its ecosystem. You can buy the Black Widow, you can buy, let's say, the Mamba or the Naga, you can buy the Sabertooth controller with maybe the keypad and the headset, and you've got an entire Razer kit. But with Cooler Master, I don't like the mice, I don't like the headset, so I'm stuck. You know, the ecosystem, I can't build the ecosystem. So, and the same with the SteelSeries. I mean, I love the 7G and the 6G V2, but it's not a keyboard aesthetically pleasing for me. Whereas this offered both the functionality, the form, and all in one really. So, it's a tough call. I wouldn't. This is another one of those reviews where I don't recommend the keyboard, and because of what I said, there's too many cons that conflict with loads of people's requirements. I mean, this met all my requirements, but I'm a very specific person. Most people are not. So I don't recommend the keyboard, purely because of the cons I've just listed. The keyboard I do recommend: Corsair, Razer, and SteelSeries. 3 names, 3 companies, those are the 3 I recommend, hands down. You know, because you can build, not only are they near the build quality of this, a great ecosystem. You can build an ecosystem and you can have all your peripherals from the same company, which, being OCD like me, is something I strongly want. But unfortunately, I love this keyboard too much. So overall, I give this an 8 out of 10. But I don't recommend it purely because of the cons I've just said. So I'm going to leave it at that. I'm going to leave it to you guys to decide off of this review. This is about well over 20 minutes now. 22, 23 minutes. So I shall see you guys on the next video. See you guys later.